well, I didn't even have money to house hack, so I had to use other strategy to kind of house hack. But if you have a like decent job now, you know, that pays, I mean, that you work for like at least 1.5 years or 2 years, right? Then you could house hack, and you haven't purchased a property yet.
I just want to say that I'm gonna repay you guys by, helping everybody else, the family.
It's okay, Jimmy. You know we love you. Bị sớm mua thui ya, sa tàu lưu này, nhiều ca chia lưu thao bị tranh mây, rất đẹp bấy giờ nhẹ là bê chín trái with the nhỏ ok, bê mua khó tư là bê yên mua tàu, cú cho phong như, xin anh nói, vì cho cây khứ.
Hello and Yojong, welcome to the Pieces again. We got a guest here tonight. His name is Tou Fang. Welcome to the show, Tou Fang.
All right.
Welcome to the show.
Yep.
What was your last name, too?
Tu Yang.
Tu Yang.
Yep.
Hey, thanks, Tu Yang.
Yep, no problem. Thank you for calling the show, Tu.
Yeah.
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 We have a name that comes right after the Tu, too.
Oh.
Yeah, so mine is Tu Tong.
Oh, you're Tuto?
Yeah.
No, I'm just pure two.
Yeah?
So my younger brother, the one behind me, is Zhe. So it's Tu Zhe, but I'm just Stu.
You probably get that mixed up a lot then, huh?
Yeah,
yeah.
I got someone that other people didn't think he knows me, and he called me Tu, and they thought it's just like Tu, but my name is really just Tu.
Yeah.
So.
Johnny.
Oh, yeah, Johnny.
I guess I'm kind of like your brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that your name too?
Yeah.
Mora. Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay.
Lunza come before Johnny. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah.
Are you the youngest one too?
Yes, I am the
Oh,
youngest.
okay. Yeah, my brother, he's not the youngest.
Yeah. So welcome to the show again, Tu. I'll introduce Tu a little bit here. Tu's a real estate millionaire. Let's put it that, right? Because you own assets equal up to, I think when you I last read was 1.5 million, right, Tu?
Yeah, that was about 6 months ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we
Man, it's
purchased some
great
other
to
stuff
see
before then. Yeah.
see you accomplish so great things. I remember the last time we met was the show that you guys had that with Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce. And also when Chai came into town, was like David Yang was there, Linda was there. I was like, man. And that lineup, when you guys had it, and then following you guys till now, I'm like, that was great. I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was. Chai called me last minute, and I had some other stuff going on. But I was like, hey, yeah, if you're in town, let's just, I could talk about rental stuff.
Right.
So he had me talk about rental.
Right.
I didn't get to hang out with you guys afterwards.
Right, me
So-
too. I mean, I work too, so I headed out right after. But after following you guys on just social media, it does so much for us too, y'all, and social media, because it inspired me so much too. And watch
really?
you guys
you
like,
follow
just go.
some of the stuff I do on there?
all of them. I click the like button on all of them, so it keeps coming up on my feed.
Oh,
Every
okay.
post.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks for following.
Yeah. And Tu, you also have started something called Hmong Wealth Builders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And so you and Nali, your wife,
Yeah, my
you guys
wife,
talk about wealth, and I think you guys just talked with an individual from, was it North Carolina or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Gu.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a buddy.
Yeah.
And a real estate investor down there. So,
See, your whole network of real estate investors is, I think it's top notch, because that's what you need to build a great relationship in real estate, y'all.
Yeah. Real estate, or I don't know how other people did it,
Yeah.
but I started investing in 2017. I moved from San Diego here to Minnesota in 2016. At the end of 2016, and so when my wife and I started in 17, we started by networking, like just meeting other people. At that time, I think Chai barely started Hmong Hustler. And so he just had one large event. Well, large. When we say large, we're talking about like maybe like 40 people. That's what's large at that time.
Right.
yeah, so just like going to these events, networking, meeting with other people, and that's how I get to meet all the different friends. I made a bunch of friends along the way, and so met with other friends and investors, and that's how my wife and I built our portfolio.
Yeah. Let's talk about your story then, Tou.
Okay.
Right, I think I heard your story a few times. I shouldn't say plenty of times. The first time I heard it was at that conference that you guys had with Hmong Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And then I heard it again when we went to Chai's event in Florida, Hmong Millionaires Conference.
Oh yeah.
And then I think I heard it once more when you guys talked about it, when you guys were talking about Hmong Wealth Builders with you and Ali on the show, your first introductory episode.
Oh,
I was like, man, that's great. Because every time you talk about it, I hear a different part of it. I'm like, and now I got like probably like the whole piece of it together. I think the whole thing that started was when you and Nali married, right? And then you went on your honeymoon. I think that's when it first started, right?
Well, it started. Yeah, that's one. Okay, so I could share. I could share because
it's really
each time we do talk, we kind of share a little bit
exactly
additional information, right? For me, like my journey. So if you guys don't know, I'm a real estate investor. So we own a small portfolio, about 25, 26 properties. We bought and sold some along the way. Actually, we've been selling quite a bit the last 6 months because the market has changed. But yeah, I wanted to invest in real estate for a long time. The first, or like a book, I'm pretty sure you guys know this, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Right.
I read that right in college, when I went to college. And so when I read that, it's sort of like a paradigm shift, like a mindset shift. And so I wanted to do business or real estate. It's not even a real estate book, but I wanted to do real estate for ever since then. So I tried, college student, don't know better. And I tried, and it didn't work out, or it just never picked up. And then right after I graduated from college in 2008, my family, they own some real estate over here in Minnesota, my half brothers. And they asked me to come and to come over here and invest. Unfortunately, my job at that time picked me up full time.
Yeah.
Well, I guess fortunate or unfortunate. And so I stayed, and then I tried real estate again. I was working full time. My thought process at that time was, okay, I could work, and then part time I could like do the real estate stuff. And I was getting to like note investing. Yeah. Here's something new. I never really talked about this.
Yeah.
So note investing, you buy the promissory note instead of purchasing the real estate. I got into that. Still didn't work. I paid for a course too. Still didn't work.
Yeah. And
then, but then in between all this, I think maybe it's just a group of friends that I'm around, right? So it's like, the people you're around, like, see what they're doing. So I wasn't around the right people. I think that's why it wasn't working. Because all the people I'm around, they wanted they're like, okay, Friday night happy hour, Saturday evening downtown, and then when you have time, do like I was living like a millionaire on a $50,000 budget. Right. That's what it was. Like we're young professionals, and everybody was doing that, and so I think that's why it wasn't working for me. And then fast forward, I met my wife. I can't say the exact date because she's gonna kill me. But sure, I met my wife. We dated for about 3 years, and then I got married. And that's in around 2015 or so. And then when I was dating her, she already kind of have her own like clothing business. Like she sell Hmong clothes, and she make Hmong clothes, sell Hmong clothes, and all that stuff. So I was helping her do that. I came from the IT space, so I was helping her with her Facebook marketing and all marketing and stuff. I actually built a photography company, so I was taking a lot of pictures for her. Yeah. Right, and this was when we were just dating. So to me, I was just like, oh, this girl's pretty cool. She's selling stuff. Like, that's something I always wanted to do. But it never picked up for me. I finally did a photography thing as a side gig. And so, I was just helping her. And I was just like, oh, if it doesn't work out, it's cool. At least, like, I get to help her.
Right.
Yeah. And then we got married. It turned out that we're more compatible. And so we got married. and then we traveled to Laos for our honeymoon. So that's where that story picked up from the honeymoon stuff. And so because I always wanted to do real estate already. My oldest brother, half brother, my dad had 4 wives, and so my mom's the 4th wife. And so I'm still super young, but I have brothers that are really old. And so I went over there, and my sister-in-law and my brother, they live here in Minnesota, but they also have a house in Laos. And so when I went over there, I messaged them, and my brother came back to America already, but they knew we were going there, so my sister-in-law stayed behind, go to Natia. And I didn't even know this, and then she came pick us up at the airport. And so that's where the story kind of picked up from there, where my wife met her for the first time there. And then, she got to know her, and we went to visit her at her house because they have a pretty big house and a lot of land and stuff in Laos. And so my wife began to just kind of ask her like what she does and everything like that. And so she explained, they do real estate here in Minnesota. And then that just sparked my wife's interest. I already knew they did that, but sometimes it's in the family. And so you don't think that, I could do it too, Even though now hindsight, I know my brothers and they've been trying to get us to do it since the 90s, But we never did. So my wife, we just hung out with her. My sister-in-law took us all around in Laos. My wife has some families in Laos too, so we were back and forth between the 2 places. But right after, when we got back, then my wife just told my sister-in-law that's what she's gonna do. They live in Minnesota, and so when my wife got back, she came to visit for July 4th. And then when she came back after July 4th, because I was still working, so I couldn't come. So I was like, go visit, and if you like it, let me know if you like Minnesota. She came to visit for J4 because she was selling clothes too. And then she went to talk to my sister-in-law because my sister-in-law came back to St. Paul at that time already from Laos. And so then after that, she came. That's in July. So after that, she came back home, and then August, we ended up here. So
that was the time you guys were still living in San Diego,
right?
I
was still in San Diego.
And so your wife came to visit because she was selling clothes in July 4 in Minnesota, right?
So 1, she's gonna sell clothes. 2, she wanted to visit, and 3, she wanted to meet up with my sister-in-law again.
So what sparked it to get into like real estate? You know what I mean? Because I feel like, man, I want to be like financially stable and travel at the same time while still getting income. Is that what sparked her idea of, hey, I need to get into real estate too? Or
well, my wife has her own story, right? So she kind of shared that at the conference. So I don't know if you guys want me to retell that, but like I always wanted to do it for like myself, like to build wealth and to for myself and the next generations and stuff. And I knew real estate is a vehicle that could do it because I had seen my older brothers and then they done it. But it's not like they're gonna give me free stuff, right? But I didn't know at that time that they were trying to give me the information. Right. I just wasn't there mentally to hear it. And so when my wife had the interest, and then like now we both are on the same page about, okay, we're gonna invest. And then we search for the information from my brothers and them. And then we heard it. Like we could hear it. Like it's clear. Like and then they share like how they did it. Like my brothers, and they don't speak English that well. Right? They're way older. Right? So they can't speak English. They don't know how to write documents. I remember like they write contracts on a piece of paper. Like they just write it. Like the tenant contract. And at that time, I moved there. I'm here already. I was like, bro, I'll type it up for you. Like,
still with the grid lines, notebook paper, and everything.
I was like, what? I'll write it for you. I'll type it up.
Right.
So it's just the fact that my wife wants to do it as well. That kind of give me clarity. And then also because I got married and I think I have my wife. I'm responsible now to kind of build my life with my wife, right? So it's like, okay, what's next? Like I know that my current work, I was in the IT field, and so as great as that was, like I didn't hate my job, but like I was complacent, and so. So as great as my job was, I knew that there's no future there for me and my wife, and so I had to do something. And I always wanted to do real estate, and so since she wants to do it too, then that really sparked the journey to really focus, learn, and jump in. So
great story, dude. I mean, every time I hear your story, I'm like, I need to go do real estate now because.
Yeah.
But I think one of the thing that you shared in the conference was the house hack, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that was like the information we didn't know back then, because back then information was pretty scarce. I mean, right now we hop onto the internet, go ahead, get in and search for information. It's all there for us.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about house hack and when you use that in the part of your life to be like, because I think that was like the first stepping stone into real estate, y'all.
Yeah. That's how. Well, I didn't even have money to house hack, so I had to use other strategy to kind of house hack. But if you have a like decent job now, that pays, I mean that you work for like at least 1.5 years or 2 years, right? Then you could house hack, and you haven't purchased a property yet. So it's very easy, and that's how I got started too. And that's how my brother told me to get started. Like don't do anything yet, just do the house hacking method, and then after that you could decide. So house hack. Basically, I mean, you could search this online now, but basically you could do it with single family too, but it works better with multiple units. So in real estate, if you buy a single family, that's typical. Most people know that. Or duplex, which is 2 units together. Triplex is 3 units together. And fourplex, which is 4 units together. 1 to 4 units, that's still considered residential real estate. Okay. After 5 and up, that's considered a commercial real estate now. And so between 1 and 4, you could use what's called FHA financing, right? So that's the Federal Housing Administration, and they'll allow you to purchase a property that's 1 to 4 units, and you can use pretty much, and the down payment is 3.5%, right? So if you do it on a fourplex, what you could do is that you just pay 3.5% on a fourplex, and you live in 1 unit, and you rent the other 3 units out. So when you do that, most of the time, it's actually easier to qualify for a fourplex, because they take those 3 units that you're gonna rent out and add that to your income, right? They add about 70 to 80% of that income to your income to qualify for it.
Right.
Yeah. So if you do it right, it's easier to qualify for a fourplex than it is for single family. But yeah, you purchase the fourplex with FHA loan, 3.5% down, and then you live in 1 unit and you rent the other 3 units out. What that's gonna do is that in most markets, or especially sort of our markets here, not the super expensive markets like San Diego, but like a normal market, the rent should cover all or even more than the current mortgage. Right. So that means you live in 1 unit for free. And that's exactly what I did. Like the first one, I bought well, mine's a little bit complicated because I didn't have money. But when we were done with it, we used 3.5% down on the house, on the fourplex. We live in 1 unit. We rent all 3 out, and we still made $900 per month. And we live in the unit for free. Right. So if you do that, that's very easy. Most people could do that. And the federal government knows this. They want to support us purchasing properties. And so if you do this, what it does is that you live in the unit for free, right? Or very close to free. And that eliminates like one of the biggest expense in your life. Like our biggest expense is like either your mortgage or your rent. Like it doesn't matter. Your housing expense, you're paying to a landlord or you're paying to a lender. So if you're able to get rid of that, that really frees your or you don't have to worry about that payment, and then you could save money. But more importantly, what it does is that if you don't think about this, if you don't take energy to think about it, paying that rent or that mortgage anymore, it frees your mind. Yeah, to really think about other things. Yeah, that's the more important thing. It's not even the money part, but it frees your mind to really think about, oh, okay, what else is possible? Right? Yeah, so that's the first step to house hack, and everybody could do it. Right? So
I think it's just called keep it top
yeah,
like you're saying, because the limitless opportunities. Because then once we pass that barrier, we're like, man, I never knew we could do that.
Yeah, and you know, people do this all the time. It's just that you know, sometimes if we don't listen, then we don't hear it either, right?
That's true.
And so what you know, like right now, you should do it. Well, both of you guys should do it. So anybody listening should do this right now.
Right, exactly. What about the bonus content of how do you do that for people that live in a single family home right now that wants to get into house hacking or wants to build more of a portfolio right now?
So that's really great if you could do it for a 2-unit, 3-unit, or 4-unit, right? But if you're single, it makes more sense if you're single. So if you're single, you could do the same thing, but you rent the rooms out for a single family, right? So you could still do it. It's just more efficient with a 4-unit. Because you can only have one FHA loan under your name at one time. So it's like you want to start right and do that so that you can maximize it. So like a 4-plex will maximize, right? Because after that's commercial. So you can still do it with a single, just that you're renting the rooms out. And that would make more sense if you're single. You're not married yet, so it's just you buy like a 4-bedroom house, rent 3 beds. You could practically live for free as well.
You know, since you were talking about that too, I know it's all about credit and where bank statements and all of that, right? You think it's a lot of people, they don't think about it as a term of like, I got like 4 bedrooms. But if my mother-in-law and everybody lives with me or something like that, because you need to track bank statements and everything, right? And to have them pay you, because that's a sense of like that's actual rent money that's going into your bank account and everything, right? So that means that you're actually renting that room out, right? I think that's a good strategy for I think a lot of people to use too, y'all.
You can. I don't know if it's single family and your mother-in-law stays with you. I don't think she's gonna give you any money.
Rent is free.
But you could do it with well, if you're married, right? Well, if you have mother-in-law, you're married. So but you could do that with like a duplex, and that'll be fine. Right. But if you're single, you could do it with a single family. I mean, you could do it either way, but it just makes more sense if you're single. I would say try to go for the 4-plex if you can, right? To start out. So, and then to answer your questions about like scaling the portfolio after that, right? Like this is really easy to do. So the first year you do FHA loan, you buy the 4-plex, right? And then you live in there for 1 year. They require you to own or occupy it, so you have to live in there for one year. And then after that, what you want to do is like to build your portfolio, you want to buy the next property you need to purchase is a small single family home. So like maybe a 2-bed, 1 bath, or 3-bed, 1 bath, something like that. And there's a reason why. I'll explain that in a little bit. So the next thing, by that 1 year, you should save some money already. And so, you know, you could do about a 3 to 5% down, like very minimal. These are 3 to 5% conventional loans. Because you're going to live in that property. And the reason they allow you to do that is because, you know, you have like you have a reason to do it because like, you know, living with other people in the same apartment, right, or the same 4-plex, it might be noisy or, you know, whatever it is, right? So you could say, no, I need my space, so I'm going to move into a single family. So you buy a small single family, you know, 2 beds or 3 beds, right? And you live there for 1 year. So that's like 3 to 5% down. That's very minimal. That's probably under like 20 grand, right? And then you could do that, right? You live there for another year. And then you buy the larger property that you want, like the 4-bed, 2-bath that you're probably going to live for the next 7, 10, 20 years, right? And so when you buy that third property, you could still do the 3 to 5% down too because you're going to live in the property. And the reason you have a reason to move because maybe now your family expanded or something like that, right? So you need more space, right? So then you could purchase that on your 3rd year. So by 3 years, you already have a 4-plex. you have your single family that the small one that you rent out, and you have now your larger home that you're gonna live in.
Yeah.
So when you do this, the fourplex pay for itself, plus it makes some money. It takes that money, helps pay for your single family, the small single family. You rent the small single family out. That rental money helps pay for your actual home that you live in.
Yeah.
So if you do this within 3 years, you could have like 6 units. Yeah. And then you're practically living rent free, right? So everybody could do this in the next 3 years. Like all it takes is just like go out there, talk to like a realtor or an investor, put a plan together, and you could get this done 3 years.
Yeah. Don't you guys like that? I mean, that's great information, Tou.
Yeah.
And you guys better go and like Tou too, and I'll put in some descriptions below for you guys to go follow Tou too. Tou, I think you got a Facebook page too and everything, and follow Tou on Hmong Wealth Builders.
Oh yeah.
And you're also a realtor too, right, Tou?
Yeah. I didn't want to be a realtor, but we needed a realtor in our team, so I went and got my license.
Yeah.
So I'm licensed here in St. Paul or in Minnesota here.
Yeah.
And I'm with Creative Results, and so I'm over there.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I want to say that like this method here is like super easy to do, and I think every single person should do it. And then after that, once you get your third property that you're gonna live in, at that point you should decide whether you want to continue investing or not. But I think regardless, everybody should do this. The reason is because like in the long run, property value goes up. So let's say you buy the fourplex for 500, you buy the single small family for 250. You buy the your larger property for 350, right? In 30 years, like these will double or triple. So you're looking at like 700-ish thousand, 800,000. In 30 years, like this can be 1.6 to like $3 million. And so this, at that time, if you want, you could sell it off or give it to your kids or whatever it is. But then all throughout this whole time, you're not paying for it. Like your tenants are paying for this. Right. So if you just think of it, logically, you're just set like a foundation for your retirement, like at least 1.6 to $3 million for retirement. Right. And you're not paying for it again. Like your tenants are paying for it. So I think every single person should do this. And then if you love your job, stay at your job and just take care of these rentals for the next 20, 30 years. You know? So, if you guys need help, let us know, But I truly believe that every single person needs to do this.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, too. I mean, even I didn't even know all that information. Now you're filling my cup even more.
Yeah. So
So, dude, let's talk about all the changes you had to make since you really got into real estate till current. I mean, a lot of things you had to change because you're talking about like earlier about like just hanging around the wrong group of crowd and stuff like that, and just changing your audience and stuff like that too, right? Because once you get into the right places and the mindset changes too, right? So what did you have to set in place to really get there then?
I think the first thing is moving from San Diego to here, right? I live in San Diego since we moved from Thailand in 94. So I was 9 at that time. And so I think just changing the actual environment, it makes it easier for you to make your mental shift as well. Like because then now you don't have the old friends calling you, right? Like it's not like I hate my friends. I love my buddies in San Diego. But if you're in a new environment too, I think that really helps. So if you live in Minneapolis, go to St. Paul. Or you guys Brooklyn Park here, right? No, maybe go a little bit farther, right? If you need to, like, and so I think that helped. The second is that I was really at sort of rock bottom, or like I was not able to save any money. And so it's just that, all right, now I need to take care of my wife now. So what are me and my wife gonna do? And so we just dedicate our time, like, just to hang out with my older brothers and their group of people. They're old, so like I remember we stay. When I moved here, we didn't have a place to stay, so we stayed at my oldest brother's house for 6 months or so. And so within that time, I was like, all right, my brother still like occasionally go fix his rentals. So right after I was working remotely, this was before COVID, and so before working remotely was cool. So I was working remotely, and then right after I get off, then I just go straight to help my brother. Like, you know, I just call him, hey, where you at? And then I just drive there, and then just at this time I don't know. Remember, I come from IT space, so I don't know anything about constructions. I didn't even know what sheetrock was. Do you guys know what sheetrock?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay. I was like, why is a rock a sheet?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Sheetrock is, for those of you who don't know, it's just a brand name for drywalls, like
Right.
the drywalls. Yeah, it's like it's a brand name. So they, instead of calling it drywall, everybody just say sheetrock. But I didn't even know that, and so I just went and helped him and learn. Right. So that's part of being in that environment of like, okay, if I'm gonna do this anyways, like don't wait for them to like ask you to go. Like when you're free, just go. So I'll go help with him with, you know, just hold a hammer for him or something like that. If he cuts his grass, just go and mow the lawn, whatever. Any extra time that I have, I just dedicate it to that. The other extra time I have is just, you know, I went on like just like educating myself in this space, right? So one book that I read after that is I forget the full title, but it's by Brandon Turner. He's one of the Bigger Pockets guy. This platform that, you know, with a lot of real estate investors there. And he used to be part of the podcast, but he left to go do bigger stuff now. But he wrote a book, I don't know the full title, but it's basically little or no money down. You know, buying real estate with little or no money down. Like I suck at reading, so I downloaded the audio version, and so I just listened to that thing over and over. Like I'm really slow, so if I go for walks or anything, I'm in the car, I'm driving, I just listen to that same book over and over. Like I listened to it like 30 times, more than 30 times,
just to drill it in.
Until I could like repeat like the stuff that he was saying in there, because I'm really slow. So I went on like, you know, just that education phase, like to really educate myself in real estate, since I'm gonna do it, just to get to know all that. So then after that, also listening to like all the podcasts and everything like that. And the great thing is I don't have friends who call me to go out for happy hours and stuff anymore, right? So it's just me listening, hanging out with my wife, hanging out with my brother and his wife, learning real estate stuff, like meeting my brothers, and they don't call it mastermind, but it's really a mastermind of them and their siblings. They'll just meet up with someone's house, drink tea. They don't get drunk or anything like that. They just talk about business ideas, how their real estate are doing, and all that stuff. And we get to like listen in. And they would talk like for hours and hours. And I was like, man, our cousins, sometimes we meet up, we just get drunk. but this group, like they meet up and they're like thinking about the future and building ideas and all that stuff together.
Is there a way we could get into that group?
Come to the Hmong World Builders conference, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, that was the whole point. Like I that's why I do some of the stuff I do, is really just to try to like build that environment for other people, you know. So it's not necessarily that same group, but like there's a lot of other Hmong individuals that are doing really well in investing and businesses and all that stuff. And so I want to bring those guys in, right, to create that environment for us.
Man, that's great. And how you set your mindset from just 2017 till now? Was that about 6 years now, y'all?
So
because it takes a lot of time and commitment to really change your habits and all of that to create a different person or a different version of you, y'all. Can you talk more about I know you touched on it a little bit, but learning? Man, but that time when you got here, that 2017 phase, you just learn. And reading all those books and drilling it in. Even now, I still see you post up. You're still learning. On the weekends all the time. I'm like, wow, it doesn't change. That learning doesn't stop.
It doesn't. Like, and I'm still learning now, because like this year we're in transition to kind of scale our business and our investment portfolio, and so I have to learn to be different now, right? Like to kind of go on to the next phase. And so, learning doesn't stop. I think I love education, you know, ever since I was young. But I think I was just going at the wrong type of education back then. Yeah. So you have to continue to learn. Like in that learning phase too, like when my wife and I sat down initially, this was our idea back then, was that, okay, we do what my brother said, and we're not going to be as ambitious as they are. You know, it's fine. My brother, and they have a lot of properties, and you know, and he's retired. They're retired, so they do whatever they want. But our idea was just like, okay, I'm gonna work, my wife's gonna work, and then we'll do what they said, and then after that we'll just buy one property per year for 10 years. So we'll have 10 properties in 10 years, and then after that, you know, we'll do something else, and then we could retire later. That was the initial thing. But then in my education phase, I also ran into another book, and you probably know this too. I ran to Grant Cardone, so I read all his books. One of the most influential book that he wrote is called the 10x rule, right? So it's all about, like, if you're gonna do something, you need to 10x it, right? So I was like, oh, okay. If there's a lot of thing about it, but that concept just makes sense to me. Like, like if you're gonna do it anyways, might as well like have a big goal and put in the time and energy to do it. So so it changed from like 10 units to like 100 units. And then I was like, oh, I could do this. Like I think I could get it done. And then as I continued that education, I was like, you know what? Like it should be more than just like you know, building that. And so now we're in the thousands of units that we want to do. Right. But yeah, like just that education phase, like really just changed my trajectory. And then meeting like people like Chai and Steven and all the other people that I met through this process, I was just like, oh, they could do it. I think I could do that too. So,
What about what keeps you going then, Tou? That fire in you. What keeps that light? What keeps that like just going all the time then? Because I know for a lot of people, the fire just gets smaller, and then the currency ember, and then everybody just lays back again. It's just like, okay, I'm just gonna relax again. They get comfortable again. What keeps you going then? What keeps that fire lit all the time?
I don't know if it's lit all the time, because we do have bad days too. But well, I think me and my wife, the first thing was just to so I'll answer that in a bit. But the first thing was to replace my wife's income when we moved here, because she went to work, I went to work as well, and then we were building our portfolio. So we replaced her income. The second thing is to replace my income, right? So we did that last year. Well, we did it before, but I just kept not leaving. But because I had a project at work that I spearheaded, and I wanted to finish that project before I leave. And then finally I left because we have enough income to cover us, right? So I think that's the first phase. And to me, I just think that me going through it, I just think, oh, it's not that hard. I think everybody is capable of doing it. You just need to, like, you don't have to do as quickly as we do. It does take a lot of energy and stress. So you don't have to do as quickly as we do. And some of you guys might do it way faster, which is great, right? But if you take longer, that's okay. But I think everybody could do it. Like that first sort of well, not me, other people call it too. That first level of sort of financial freedom, where it's not about being super rich. It's about like you just have enough where you're good, and you could have that time to yourself and your family and stuff, right? And we did that, and to me, I was just like, oh, I think everybody could do it. So I wanted, I like right now, what I enjoy, I don't know if you'll ask me this later, but what I enjoy is just taking like Wednesday off. I take Wednesday off. I work 6 days. So I take Wednesday, and then that's like with our family, and you know, going to like Costco. Nobody's there at Costco on Wednesday, right? Like that. Those little things, like I enjoy that. You know, before I can't take Wednesday 1 o'clock out, right? I'm at work, right? And so like I think like those little things I enjoy, and I think that, you know, it's not that difficult to do, and I wanted everybody else to have that enjoyment. Like, so that's the first thing that really kept me going. So that's why we do some shows and other things to just give out the information, because I think everybody could do that. In terms of like the big thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
I figure out that it's not about like, it's about like the work that we do that's more fun. I think it's just that we wanted to choose the work, so it's not like we're not gonna work anymore.
Right.
Like if you have money, you could quit. If you quit, I think, or you quit your job, you take some time to vacation. I think after a few years, you want to come back and do work, right? So it's just about picking the work that you want to do. And so since I enjoyed this, we going through this process, we were able to help other investors along the way. Like we have people that invested in us, invested with us. They came and learned, and they invest themselves as well, and they're doing well now. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna do that. Then let's just make it really big so that I could at least take like 20 years to work on it, you know. But it's gonna be the work that I want to do. Yeah. And so far, the big goal that we have, which is now 6,000 units, to build at least $1 billion real estate portfolio, right? So that goal is going to take me an additional 15 years from now. And I think it's going to be fun along the way, right? And so that I wake up and I'm like, let's do that. Why not? Right. So
that's happening right now then.
So that's right now. Okay. Yeah. So that's why, because I told my wife, if you want, we could just stop right now, right? I mean, we're doing okay. We're not like making a lot of money, but we're making decent money where we could just not do anything anymore. But I know you're going to be bored. I'm going to be bored, right? So we might as well pick a big target. And so at least the next 15 years, right? We could focus on getting to that target. And I know that target along the way, we're going to meet a lot of good people. We're going to, because that target is so big that the reason for that big target is that it's so big that I can't do it myself. So I have to do it with other people. Right. And so doing it with other people, we're going to meet a lot of great people along the way. We're probably going to meet some bad people along the way too, but I'm pretty sure this. But in general, I think we're gonna meet a lot of incredible people along the way and build friendships along the way, and I think that excites me. Yeah,
I think you're on to something right there, and let's lead into the next one since you're talking about that, because the networking part, right? And I think you're onto something in which that networking in which you talk about with Hmong Wealth Builders. I think you have a conference coming up. Let's talk about that conference. I know Hmong Wealth Builders is about bringing knowledge to the community, right? And to bring together resources. And to connect them all together and everything. Can you talk more about Hmong Wealth Builders and the conference you have coming on August 24th and 25th?
For sure. Thanks for asking that. So Hmong Wealth Builder, we came back and my wife and I really, not just us, but we talked with other people too. So it's we wanted to create a platform to have resources to help everybody. So we call it Hmong Wealth Builders. Sai inspired me for that name. But we call it Hmong Wealth Builders because we want everybody to build. We want specifically our Hmong people to build wealth together, right? And the only reason we will like Hmong people could become wealthy is that individual Hmong people need to be wealthy first, and then our entire Hmong community could be wealthy, right? It's not about like, how can we be wealthy as a group, but to be wealthy as a group, individually needs to be wealthy. That's true. So we built a platform to really try to bring that resource together. So it's focused on business and real estate investing. As I grow, I realize my real estate stuff is actually a business. But we'll talk about that later. So the platform, so the platform is really to help bring resource to support each other. So one is like the education piece, right? That's what I went through. The education stuff. And so right now we put a lot of different monthly seminars together just to educate everybody. But that's here in Minnesota, in St. Paul here. And then part of the platform is to do the conference, right? So we're doing the Hmong Wealth Builders Conference on August 24th and 25th. And we like that was the whole networking thing, and what you were saying earlier, Johnny, about like listening into my brothers and their conversation.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to bring all these successful Hmong individuals, to come and speak and share their stories and do actual training on businesses and real estate, right? So it's not just like you go there, you hear a bunch of stories. It's like you go there, you hear the stories, get inspired, and then you also get trainings from like really high level Hmong individuals, and they're really accomplished, right? And so that you could go there, meet all these people, network with all the Hmong individuals as well, and then network with everybody else that comes to the conference, and so that's why we put it together, so that we could listen in to different conversations and share ideas and everything. My wife and I, we go to a lot of conferences and to go network and meet with people. And so this conference, I love the conference this conference, we decided to include everything because we love that part about the conference. So it means that it's 2 days, you go there, breakfast will be taken care of, coffee, all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about getting your coffee. Like go there, pay attention, listen, right? Lunch, we're paying for lunch, dinner, we're taking care of dinner. So for both days, right? And so that like during lunch, the speakers are there too, because they're not going to go out. And so they're there to eat lunch and you can talk to them. Yeah. The trainers are there too during dinner. You can talk to them, you network with them, And so that's why we're doing it this way. Yeah. I know like the price is premium pricing, but it's really to pay for all of this because I think it's worth it. To go there, meet, and really focus and network with everybody. So that's why we're putting that together. But so that's just the conference. And then, what do you have questions about that? Then I could kind of explain sort of the general vision of the platform.
Yeah, I mean that's great. I think the premium price has come with the premium product.
Yeah. So this is what
everything.
So include all the food, everything like that. And all the and we have dinner. So Thursday dinner will be at Unison. And so at Unison we'll have, of course, different activities, and there's gonna be live band there too. So you're gonna entertain as well, and then you network with everybody. So and then after that, so that's the general pass. The VIP pass gets that, and the second day, for the VIP, we're going on a boat cruise, a giant boat here. And so with that, we'll have dinner there too. Live band entertainment there too. I thought it's nice to also go there and everybody could kind of dress up a little bit, for that second dinner, and meet with other investors and speakers and trainers and business and entrepreneurs there as well. And then we're gonna have live band there too, so you can entertain and everything. Both places has bars, so so it's like like you come and learn everything like that, but you want to like also entertain and have fun as well.
Exactly. Learning and fun sounds like a good combo to me.
So
go follow Tou too, and I'll link down the description at the how you guys get to the Hmong Wealth Builder website, and so you could get to the link and purchase some tickets through there too. Okay. So what does the future hold then, Tou? I know you got a lot planned. Give them a little taste of like what the future is, kind of what you have envisioned.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about the platform that I could talk about myself too. But the Hmong Wealth Builders platform, like I said, just a platform. The conference is part of the platform. And so our goal is, our vision is we're doing a 10-year thing. So I'm dedicating 10 years to do this. So we're hoping this first year works so that it could kind of, if everybody comes to the conference, you're not just supporting the conference, and you're not supporting yourself, not just supporting yourself in investing yourself and educating yourself, but you're also supporting the future of this platform, right? And so this is what we want to do. It's Hmong Wealth Builders. We want to have at least 10,000 members, right, in at least our Facebook group or different groups that we have. Right. So if you go on Facebook, just search Hmong Wealth Builders. It should pop up there. We just started like 3 months ago. We have over 1,200 people join already. But we want to have at least 10,000 members. you know. Then after the 10,000, we want to have at least 1,000 members that like are okay, like that could do something like house hacking, like I said earlier, or they could run their side business, or they could do like podcasts you guys are doing, and have enough sponsorship to kind of, you know, do something small scale, that you guys are doing fine, right? So we want to build at least like 1,000 Hmong individuals to be able to do that, right? So that you don't have to worry, you're not in this financial stress. That's what it is.
That's true.
And then after that, we want to have at least 100 people that are doing where I'm at right now, right? So I want to bring at least 100 people where you're financially free, where if you don't want to work, you don't have to. Right. But I know for sure that once you get to where I'm at, you're gonna want to work. It's just you pick the type of work you want to do now, right? So I want to at least get 100 people to do that. Right, and then after that, I want to get at least like 10 people to do really well, like to go where I'm going or where we want to go, to build something big, you know, where, you know, it could be $100 million and above, right? Yeah. And why not? Like why our Hmong people don't think about that, right? Like, so these are like people like Ku from JB Vang, like this is their level. Like I want to, within this 10 years, I hope that I want to build at least 10 guys or girls, right? Individuals that could reach that level where they're at least $100 million in net worth and above. And so if we're able to do that, if you have 10 guys, that's $1 billion of net worth right there already, right? And so my whole thing is just that, why do we not do that? We already have like Sunisa Lee, that's a gold medalist, right? We have Hmong people that are like, that's at the highest level in gymnastics, right? We have like what's the pageant girl, Pasai. I probably could butcher her name, but I met her parents, right? But we have like her, right? That was on the international stage, right? We have Arden, the racer guy. Exactly. Right. So we do have talent in our Hmong community, and so like to me, reaching $100 million in our Hmong businesses, that's like the gold medal of our Hmong entrepreneurship. And so like we should start shooting for the goal instead of like, oh, we do a small business here and then, which is fine. If you want to do that, that's okay. But we need to start thinking about, okay, let's get the gold. Like we could do this, right? So that's kind of the thought process. And I hope that this platform could build these individuals. So it's not just about me, it's about our community. And I hope that if we're able to do that, I think like our Hmong community as a whole will be a lot better. You know? So so that's the future for Hmong growth builders.
Sounds like a Grant Cardone 10X again.
It turned out that I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna do it, might as well dedicate like a decade to it, right? Exactly. 10 years. Exactly. No point in doing it if we're not gonna really spend time on it. You know?
I think that's very motivating too. I mean, after this, I'm just gonna go and just plug away and do something too. It's very motivating. Thank you again for coming on the show. But one last thing is, we need that one piece of advice again. I know you have dropped so many gems and jewels on this show already, but one more last one.
Oh,
one more last piece.
Well, if you starting out, right, or you're working on I'll say a few things, I guess. If you're still working like a W-2 job, which is great, it's fine. Like even if you hate it, don't leave your job. Okay, so that's one advice. Don't leave your job yet. Use your job, like leverage that job, like because like having a very stable W-2 job, with decent income and good credit score, which if your credit sucks, it's easy to repair, right? You could use that. Banks love W-2 jobs. Banks hate people like me, right? Because like my income, like I'm like 0, 0, 0, 20,000, 0, 0, 0, 80,000, 0, 0, 0. Like banks hate that. Banks want the steady like 5,000 a month coming in every month, right? Banks love that. So if you're working, even if you hate your job, stay your job, leverage it. Just put a plan in place, leverage it, and do the house hacking thing, right? That's one thing if you're going to start. The other, let me see, I wrote it down here. Oh, okay. The other, I didn't realize this. I think Grant Cardone said this too, but I didn't understood it at that time that I was going through this. If you're going to start an entrepreneurship or investing, you don't even really have to invest yet. I think the first thing is to invest in yourself. And so that could be going to seminars. Not that, we're having the conference, I'm saying that, but I realized this after. Go to like different. You don't have to come to ours, but it'll be great if you come to our conference. So use any excess money you have to reinvest in yourself first to get that skill set. And a metric to know that you're doing good before you even invest is to at least make $100,000 first. So that's like you invest in yourself. Go do some sales. If you're gonna be a real estate agent, go do $100,000 in sales, right? Or 200, whatever. Like become good at one skill set. Once you have 100,000, then you could really start about, okay, how should I invest, right? So between that, you could still do the house hacking thing. That's not part of what I'm saying. But after that, like go make the 100. And I think once you make the 100 from that skill set, you have something that no one could take away. Right. That's true. Right. You can't take you go learn how to make 100. People like fire you. What? I'm gonna go make 100. I know how to do it already. Right. Exactly. So go get that skill set. Go make it. And there's so many different ways to do that. And so those will be 2 pieces of advice that I'll give.
That's great. Now that Tou's been on the show too, he's painted a bigger picture in which the big piece of the puzzle gets kind of filled. Hence our name with the pieces. So thank you again, Tou, for coming on to the show. You dropped a lot of great information on here. I hope people give us a lot more likes now.
You guys should.
Yeah.
You guys are watching this.
And then so they get open up their mind a little bit and invest in yourself too, because you need to go to Hmong Wealth Builders to kind of open up your mind. I know because when Johnny and I went to Florida and the conference that Chai had, that opened up our minds a lot. And I know if you guys go to Tou Fang's Hmong Wealth Builders conference, that's going to even open you guys' minds a lot more. So make sure you guys go. I'll have the links down below too again. And thank you again, Tou, for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad you guys are doing this. I do want to say before I go, like, thank you for doing this. And regardless, continue. If you're going to do it, I don't know your time frame, but I'm going to say at least do another 5 years, right? Before you quit or whatever it is. Good. And continue to do it. I'm glad you guys are doing it. Bring people on and share this information with everybody else. So thanks for doing it. Thanks for having me, both of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
All right.